Solo might get collapsed on here, top side. Throws down the equalizer, but he's got Dhokla he has to deal with. The 1v2, I don't think you're winning this one, buddy. Arena 2v2, but Solo forgot to bring his partner. Solo is getting cut off by Dhokla, but Tactical's looking for Prince. Prince flashing over the wall. Tactical wants to take out the royalty of FlyQuest. He goes to the air, he soars, and he slays Prince, but now he's isolated. Dhokla, will he go down? No, he doesn't! He aces Tactical and the rest of Immortals. Blabber secures it. No soul point for TSM. The engage from, oh my goodness, the damage from Cloud9 is just eviscerating TSM. What can they do but just marvel at the power of Cloud9? Wild Turtle trying to fight off that, but Berserker is able to take him down with ease. Cloud9 just destroyed them.
Welcome back to the LCS, everybody. I'm a 90s arcade beat-em-up character, and this is my buddy, the Uwu Kitty Cat. And we're going to be bringing you the next 3 games here today for Soul Fighter Day at the LCS. IgNar's got to be careful now as he flashes away with 300 HP remaining. Palafox with a nice shuffle back into Busio. FBI takes him down, but it's going to be traded as Palafox falls. Now FBI has to be protected by the rest of his troops, but the Heartbreaker, the Playmaker, it's Closer with a double kill on Viego as FBI tries to escape. Closer's got the Spectral Maw and a triple kill for the 100 Thieves jungler. Toss Weaver's wall looking to put itself between everybody as Poom is exploded here in the front line. Jensen tries to disengage, but lingers for the good use of the zone. Is here yet again. Rich has to run away here with the all-out. They may have lost Huhi, but Golden Guardians just won the game.
I am winning, so I'm just going to stay back here. I know he can't.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, I don't think he can
He's
get
a
me.
chicken.
So, like,
He's
I
a
mean, this is
chicken.
like when fight is taller.
Disqualify him.
Now APA having to flash away back onto the ramp, but now they got to be careful because Unforgiven's into the back with a killer instinct, and they found Yone too. Team Liquid is collapsing under the might of evil geniuses. Jojo chases Pioshik away as Summit was too late to the party to change the outcome. Revenge is ready to jump over the wall and follow him all the way. One more leap strike should do it. There's the helicopter. Ace for evil geniuses.
Welcome back to the LCS Lounge. You are seeing the remnants of the week thus far. This is what remains. 5 more scheduled games, up to 5 more tiebreaker games.
Bonus day.
And the split will be complete.
We're very likely getting some tiebreakers. There's one, I think if I'm right, there's one scenario with 5 and one with 0. So those are equally unlikely.
Yeah, Rash just broke his elbow. Let's look at the standings and the schedule for today.
Raz is permanently looking for angles for workman's comp.
Do I qualify as a Canadian?
I don't know, man. But you are always trying to injure yourself.
Wait, yeah, you have free healthcare. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'll fly over.
If you go back.
I'll fly tomorrow.
FlyQuest and Immortals are eliminated, but they're playing for pride. I actually feel like they're going to have a good day today. Cloud9 Golden Guardians are up at the top, but Evil Geniuses still has a chance to snag a top 2 seed, and there is still some shenanigans to be done around top 6, which is the break point for being in the upper bracket of the 8-team playoff.
Does feel like there's 3 main categories. The fight for the top 3 teams trying to get those 2 spots. Then there's the kind of grouping in the middle, which is mostly, it feels like, for seeding with the potential for 100 Thieves or Dig to claim that spot from TSM.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually want to go through some of the scenarios that you just talked about, Mark.
Scenarios. Scenarios or scenarios?
Scenarios. The first one I want to talk about is Evil Geniuses. Shout out LCS Production for giving us this tool. Currently, in 25% of the remaining scenarios, they can be in at least a tiebreaker for top 2. What are those scenarios? Well, obviously, in their EG versus TSM game, if they lose, it goes to 0.
Goodbye.
Because they'll never get to 12 wins. If they win, it goes up to 50%, which means one other game is important for them, and that's the Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves game. If Golden Guardians wins, Evil Geniuses has a 0% chance of at least tying for second because they will lose the head-to-head tiebreaker against Cloud9, even if Cloud9 were to lose their game. But if 100 Thieves wins, that actually guarantees Evil Geniuses at least a tiebreaker for top 2. The other one that I wanted to talk about is going to involve TSM.
I'm ready for this one.
Going into the day,
Oh, boy.
they are not yet locked for top 6. If they just win against Evil Geniuses, they are 100% locked for top 6. But what if they lose? At least a tiebreaker for top 6 with a loss is still at 75%.
Pretty good.
How could this go wrong? Let me show you.
Please illustrate
100
Jet.
Thieves losing and Team Liquid winning would actually give 100 Thieves at least the tiebreaker for the top 6 because of the way the head-to-head tiebreakers work. So if you are a TSM fan, you don't want any of those 3 things happening. The only thing you should care about is that one TSM win, because that would mean they are 100% locked into top 6.
So if we lose, though, we hate 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
Good to know, my fellow TSM fans.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. I really like this tool. It's very easy to highlight a bunch of different scenarios very quickly. So.
Yeah, and the EG one is interesting because they were on that 4-game losing streak. They subbed in Shaden. They're 2-0, and they actually still have an outside chance of making it. But honestly, I think Golden Guardians is pretty good. So we'll have to see the rest of the day. Another team that's really good is Cloud9. They are in the conversation for first place. They're definitely in the conversation for top 2. And we had an interesting what if
Hit me.
from Kangas about the Cloud9 roster. Let's pull this up.
Alrighty. Oh, I saw this question on Twitter during the week.
So peak Haunter, Xmithy, Pobelter, Doublelift, and Aframu. Time travel them to this patch. Give them a month to practice. Do they beat current C9?
Okay, big question for time travel scenarios. Do you somehow mystically obtain the knowledge of the world that you're stepping into? So, no, this is a real thing. This is like when you do these time travel scenarios or you go to an alternate dimension, like, do you know what is now the thing? This is like if you took someone from the past and moved to the future, do they know what a car is? You know, if they don't know what a car is, if they don't know anything that happened from like their peak till now.
I mean, when was peak Doublelift?
I mean, but because this is the thing you're saying too. You're taking a snapshot of Doublelift in probably 2015.
Yeah, 2015, 2016, maybe.
Yeah, maybe even you could say argue 2018.
I mean, maybe his TL time, like 2018.
Yeah, you could argue that. Yeah. Either way, point is, you're taking a snapshot from years ago and taking that person and putting him here. You're not taking 2023 Doublelift.
You need to know this.
So snapshot Doublelift doesn't have 4 years of league knowledge of all the systemic changes.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot to overcome.
The magic must happen. We're assuming the magic.
Okay, magic happens.
Because I was going to say, there's so much to the game that is natural even to like silver players, right? Like in terms of just what we know, what we literally know about the game is so different than a lot of these players at their peak, which is
because like Herald wasn't a thing, Fruit wasn't a thing, you know. So like, let's say they get all that knowledge.
I'm gonna say they have, like, for the purpose of this being interesting.
Yeah.
If they didn't get the knowledge,
they can't.
They get slammed.
Yeah, they get slammed.
So let's just say, patch to patch, they know what's been going on. And they now have a month to like
scrim together, work out their strats.
And I think they win.
But we're taking their mechanics at that level.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in like Xmithy as the smartest jungler.
So you think peak Xmithy
is better than Blabber
current
right
Blabber?
now?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Why?
Wow.
When he went to internationals, he actually performed really well individually. Like, I think people, a lot of the times, they will talk about his intellect and downplay his actual mechanics.
Yeah.
And I think when he went to internationals constantly, not just 2013 with X de Gloria, but also during his time with Team Liquid, I remember vividly versus Ning in MSI, like, he played well mechanically. So,
can we pull the tweet back up again? Because it was Haunter.
It was Haunter, Xmithy,
Pobelter,
Doublelift, and Afro.
Yeah. And I think Aframu is also at his peak as a support was incredible. So like, whenever these conversations come up, and you assume the magic happened, it's like, yeah, the best players do it.
Yeah, but I think like MNS versus Pobelter is probably like MNS on a good day.
But this is current C9.
Oh, I guess MNS is not having a good day.
And MNS is not having a good day.
That's what only makes this interesting is it's current C9.
Well,
and you can take the hard peak
also includes good M&S. It's not like we haven't seen M&S play well this split.
He's not terrible. I'm not saying that, but it's not like in spring. I think solo lanes are close. I think Fudge versus Haunter is close. I think Fudge is really good. I think Pobelter versus M&S is close. I think a lot of these are close actually. Like
that's why it's a good question.
Yeah, this is a really good question.
It's a good question.
Shit, I don't know.
So my question is about like not like patch knowledge, like itemization, because like we're assuming they know items, they know Rift Herald, like stuff like that, but just like general game concept with the mechanics. That's the thing that I'm super curious about. Because like I would still give it to C9 because I feel like so many small things that we don't even think about, we know about the game automatically, regardless of how bad or good you are at the game.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if that, like, not that these aren't good players or smart players, but like there's so much, in my opinion, that isn't even related to the minutia that we talked about in terms of do you know what X thing is in game.
Yeah, I almost want to like, I imagine the 70% in that question, there's a certain percentage of people that looked at it the way that Mark looked at it at the start of like, well, what is it?
Yeah.
Like they're going to be, they don't know what Rift Herald or turret plates are or Unleashed Teleport.
Then they just
of course they're going to lose.
Then they just get
and that just changes the answer. It is a very interesting question.
Yeah.
That
And
we'll
even if they have
never
to play-
be able to test.
Yeah.
But what we do know is
Don't rule out time travel.
we're moving into the final day of regular season. FlyQuest has one more game to play. But unfortunately, because Closer decided to go superhuman for one game,
Oh, true.
Oh, true.
FlyQuest got eliminated. So now it's time to give an ode to FlyQuest.
How do I
Let's go, Rez.
Love an angel.
Oh my God.
Go for it.
This is the perfect background. All right. Once again, shamelessly stolen from Kelsey Moser. FlyQuest, you are, unironically, a group of very talented LoL players.
Yes, they are.
I am sad that your summer split did not work out. I actually really love this team. I'm
So am I.
very sad.
Agreed.
I love you because your content is still amazing. The FlyQuest summer music video is still fire, and I have no idea how you got the players to do it. Congratulations for
It
that.
cost them dearly.
Can I ask you, what was your scrim record actually? I'm curious. I want to know. FlyQuest, you are unexpected. I am actually
Of all
really
the
sad.
adjectives you could have used, that is a soft one.
It is.
You are massively disappointing from your potential.
Unexpected is way nicer.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She was like, I would have said that. She said hers.
That's a really good turn of phrase for disappointing.
It is unexpected.
It's like interesting. I use
If your
interesting a lot
parents
when I don't
told
actually
them-
want to go hard.
that your life took an unexpected turn. I mean, it's a lot better.
I'm sure you're
My parents have told me that.
But that's
yes.
a subversion of
A
the use of that. Because
disappointing
usually when it's just
turn.
like, oh, well, yeah, I took a really unexpected turn. I did these other things. But this is like,
Yeah.
I expected A's and B's, and you failed.
This is unexpected.
Look, I expect this type of format used in elementary school. Your elementary teacher is not telling you that you are a disappointment and that you're a failure.
That's why I'd never be great, Raz.
Your skill in
Gotta hear it early.
Mark,
skill
I
in
will
math
look
was
forward to your ode.
unexpected.
Yeah. I'll look forward to your ode. You can go super
Yeah,
hard.
we'll see what I do.
Yeah. Okay. Predictions. We're going to do this a little differently today because we have a foldy sheet full of different scenarios. We've each done predictions, and those each lead to specific scenarios. So for me, we're going to pull up my predictions for the day, and they're on the telestrator right now.
Oh!
And let me tell you guys, the removal of pressure is a very powerful thing.
Uh-huh.
So the two teams that have been eliminated from playoffs,
NRG and FlyQuest. So you're predicting them
they're
to
winning.
win. They're winning.
They're actually winning today.
Okay.
Because all these other teams are looking ahead. FlyQuest and Immortals have one game left to show that they still are a good team and good players, and I think that's really going to motivate them. Other than that, I'm picking favorites. I go EG, Golden Guardians, Team Liquid. And what this means for the end of the Summer Split standings
Oh, check mark.
is
All right.
Oh.
this.
So we have a two-way tie between. Oh, it's not a tie because this gets tiebreaker.
Big old Golden Guardians right there.
Hog.
This is an automatically broke tiebreaker because Cloud9 has a 2-0 head-to-head against
Yep.
EG, so they're just there. Interesting enough, I just have this one tiebreaker game down here to
This
see
is
who
not
can
a bad
get
day.
7th and 8th.
This is a pretty
Yeah,
nice
one
day.
tiebreaker game. This would be like a nice day. You'd have the upset, you'd have Golden Guardians, you know, doing some cool rank 1 stuff, and you only have one tiebreaker. It's clean.
Okay.
This is the best one.
I like
It's
that.
probably
Yeah,
not
who's
going to
next?
happen.
All
But
right. What?
Oh!
I'm off the team.
That
sorry.
catch was unexpected.
wait, the
I
catch
like
was
your use of
unexpected.
that.
That was a good throw.
All right. NRG, I swear to God, if you disappoint me today, I'll be
Non-rational
so sad.
gamers.
Yep. So I have NRG, EG, GG,
Oh,
Toss,
Whoa.
the 9 and 9
and then
TL
C9.
scheme.
Yeah.
What does this give us?
What do we got here? Because I like that. That's interesting.
And this gives us multiple tiebreakers.
I do like that first place tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I want that.
Honestly, this is a banger. Like, I know how much I keep saying, like, C9 are the JDG and then Golden Guardians are the BLG, but, like, I always like watching these two teams go at it. And then there is this.
That's an actual 6th place tiebreaker game that we see.
I believe so, yeah. Because I have 2 tiebreakers in my scenario.
they're 1
so
for
yeah,
1.
they're 1 for 1. So
Two
yeah,
pretty
so it'd be
massive.
2 tiebreakers. Some interesting games.
Well,
you
yeah,
know? This is kind of like, of the tiebreakers possible, this is the one that I really want to see. Just
I like this day too. Both those
Yeah.
tiebreakers matter.
Well, that's what I was gonna say is because you get selection of opponent in the second round if you end up winning first place, which is pretty huge.
Yeah.
And 2, you get a second life if you won the other tiebreaker. So both of them
Yeah.
are playing for
Yeah.
a lot.
The first place one, Raz, you can go.
Thank you.
You got plenty of time, guys. We can talk.
No, I don't think so.
You got
Okay.
13 minutes.
My bad.
I'm actually quite boring. I just think that there's not going to be an upset. We see an NRG win. We see an EG win. We see a Golden Guardians win. We go for a Team Liquid win. And we have a classic Cloud9 win. No surprises here. So I think this is the most likely scenario.
Ooh.
And if I were to clear the screen and see what we actually get out of here, 3 tiebreakers. The fun tiebreaker for first, the tiebreaker for fourth coming in here.
That's a boring.
The worst
that is-
tiebreaker possible.
That is a banger that's going to go 50 minutes.
That's a
dude.
fun game. It's a meaningless tiebreaker,
It's
kind
the
of.
battle for side selection in the first round of playoffs.
Essentially.
You're gonna play again next week.
So they might
But
just
the game
troll.
itself is going to be unexpected.
Yes, and then of course the tiebreaker for 7th, which once again doesn't
Okay.
put
Veg.
you into the upper bracket, but it's another tiebreaker. And that one I think is fun too.
No, I think we all agree that this day sucks. There's one good tiebreaker there, that because it matters and it's gonna be, you know, a hype matchup.
Yeah.
But I'm a realist here, and I don't think there's no upsets that's gonna happen. So
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this makes me really want an upset because this is not.
Okay, Mark.
This
I
is not
know.
hot.
I know what you do. Let's see yours.
What do you mean? You know what I do?
Hey.
what?
Just.
The champions FlyQuest.
So we
Wait.
couldn't let Jack bounce, but
get
we
out of
have,
there, Raz.
we have
Get out
time
of
for you
there.
to put poop emojis, but Jack couldn't have a follow-up point.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, since we're wasting time, I gotta say, whoever made our foldy sheet for today, they put in a seance. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah,
I should walk
Liam
forward, but
Leo put a seance.
Yeah.
yeah.
5
oh my
tiebreaker
God, so there you go.
tiebreaker
There's
games.
a seance with 5 tiebreaker games
Yeah.
in the middle.
Is that
of
the one you're
foldy
giving
sheet.
us,
That's your
Mark?
scenario.
No, it's not. I just predicted what I honestly thought was going to happen, which means we're going to see an Immortals win, we're going to see a TSM
Yeah,
win,
okay.
we're going to see a 100 Thieves win,
Okay.
a Dong Natas win, and a FlyQuest win.
Do you just predict the team with less wins because?
Nope, I predict what I think is going to happen, Jack, 'cause I'm an honest analyst here.
Right.
The cool thing about this is what we're going to get as a result. So first off, you still get this sick tie for first place
I
matchup.
guess you do.
Yeah.
You get a 3-way tie.
But
Is that how is that resolved?
It's a 2-game 3-way tiebreaker. So one
Okay.
team will be seeded to wait, and then
Yep.
the 2 lower teams based off, I think, average game time and wins or something. It's one of those kind of tiebreaker metrics.
Yeah.
We'll
it's
seed
also
2.
like
Yeah.
score victories.
Head to head, I stand corrected. Then in the bottom, you have this one, which I just roasted Raz for having. So I just added more games. There's still only one that matters, really. I will say, you probably don't want to play EG, so the loser of this 3-way tie is going to be sad, most likely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they'll have to play EG. But yeah, that's my day.
At least it's
Okay.
not a 5-game tie.
Yeah,
It's only
Mark.
4 guys.
Let's read out what happens for the 5-way tiebreaker.
Do you know which line it is?
Yeah, I can see it right here.
Yeah.
So the 5-way tiebreaker starts with an Immortals win, then an EG win, then a 100 Thieves win over Golden Guardians, a Dig win over TL, and a Fly win over C9. Would mean we get.
Here, let's
5.
put it on the bracket. Let's put the
Yeah.
hell scenario.
Put it up
Can we
there.
get the
You have
schedule back
20
up?
seconds
Yeah.
to do this.
I got 20 seconds.
You
Let's
have
go.
until 9:33.
I don't know what. You gotta
Whatever
repeat it to
happens
me.
at 9:33,
14,
we're gonna pull up the full
13.
schedule.
Go!
I got 20
Go,
seconds.
go,
Wait,
go,
what is it?
go.
Tell me. Tell me.
Immortals, EG, 100 Thieves, Dig, Fly.
Wait, so it's my exact prediction
Not quite.
except 100, except EG win.
Yeah, EG wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would give us 10 games for today.
Second broadcast day stapled on
Let's
the
pull
end.
up
We go
today's
straight
schedule
into LCK.
once again, even though we've literally been looking at the schedule this entire time. That is what is in the prompter. So let's see it.
Hey, do you guys know what's going on today?
Wow, what a
This
shocker.
is the order of the games, everybody.
I don't see check marks. I'm confused.
Yeah, who's going to win? Do your own check marks at home. Also, check out the Foldy sheet. It's Lolly Sports Stats Twitter account. You can find the Google Doc. It is updated all day. You can see all the scenarios. But there was also a really fun thing from the LCS Discord. Thanks to Noxwar on the Discord for suggesting this, and it's about the Discord All-Pro team. So he just asked if someone could create a Google form that allows the Discord to make their All-Pro votes. I love this. I know some leagues have made fan voting an exclusive part of their All-Pro. I don't like that. I actually would love it if something like this was official. But anyway, this is what the first team All-Pro looks like.
Okay.
We're going to cycle through first, second,
Hey, that's
and
my
third
first team All-Pro.
We're going to cycle through first, second, and third
These guys
team
are
to
pretty
see
smart.
what they ended up doing. First team, very likely. This, not that surprising either.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
That makes
Let's
sense.
see the third team as well. This is where it'll start getting maybe a little spicy.
Fudge, Pioshik, M&S. Ooh, the M&S one is interesting. Unforgiven 3 is also interesting. Core JJ sneaking in there as well.
All right, now we can see all three at once
Yeah,
over on the
okay.
wide wall and begin our discussion. NRG is not very happy about this.
No, Energy will be upset. I will just say, big picture-wise, not too bad. I actually think fans did a great job here. There's nothing
Yeah.
you can be too upset with, I don't think. Most of these choices are defendable, at least.
Yeah, actually, I don't see anything super.
Do you guys want to start with the first team All-Pro, or do you want to start with potential snubs in third team and work our way up?
So I think we did a discussion about first team yesterday. I think there is going to be a lot of split votes between first and second team, specifically in every position except support, weirdly enough. Like if I'm
Yeah.
trying to forecast this, I would say Huhi is as close to a lock for first team as anyone. Berserker
You don't
Stixay
think
is a
Berserker is a
conversation.
lock?
I have to actually look at my own list and see who I feel like is a snub. So Stixay is there. I do like that. Yone, I think, had an amazing split. So maybe
So
it's
you
not
want to go
Stixay.
straight to snubs because we're on first
Yeah.
team right now.
Okay, let's go for it. Let's go
Yeah.
for it. Let's go for it.
We're just thinking about the difference between first team and second team and where it's going to switch. Like, I think top lane is going to be the most diverse,
Contentious, yes.
contentious, but like the Blabber River, the Berserker Stixay, and even the Gory Jojo, I think might end up being dictated by today.
Yeah.
Because if we get this fatty first place tiebreaker game, it could swing some heads.
Yeah, that definitely has happened. Basically, everyone says Berserker won MVP off his tiebreaker game.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that's interesting, and this is just a meta note, is that C9 is pretty spread out for being tied for first.
True.
Actually, if you look at the spread, Golden Guardians
is
close.
higher aggregate.
Yeah. Yeah, which speaks, I think, a lot to fan sentiment because there's a lot of times where.
Who's this pastry time?
Moving on, I would just say that normally you see sometimes like C9 with almost borderline all first team All Pro, and the
Yeah.
fact that it's
Yeah.
more spread speaks to how close of a season it's been.
And I also wonder about this Blabber conversation.
Yeah.
I have him as my front runner for MVP, but also with his solo lanes being lower this split, is that something we give Blabber credit for because they're still winning, or do you take credit away because the drop off of the solo lanes could be because Blabber is playing more for his own tempo, not playing for the team as much? How do you look at that?
Well, and then also, what does that say? Like, if you're giving Blabber more credit for that, then do you also have to give that same amount of credit to Jojo Pian, whose only
Like,
other
the only
teammate that's
Unforgiven.
on the Discord is Unforgiven? At least, again, according to Discord votes.
Yeah, and I feel like the criticism is not necessarily with Blabber's pathing at all. Like, for instance, I think with the Fudge thing, he even knocks his own dives at the first, 2 weeks, right? So, these are own individual mistakes that he's made that has nothing to do with the jungle pathing, though. There are smaller things that can help for sure, because River is an unexpected jungler in a good way because of how he actually ganks.
River's jungling is unexpected.
His Jarvan game was
PO6.
amazing. And I do think this week was going to be a tipping point for first and second because they're such vastly different junglers.
Yes.
But I think Blabber is. I agree with the first team All Pro. Yesterday I had Summit out there, and I do think that Licorice and Summit are just great in different ways. Hilariously enough, one is an amazing laner that a lot of players and analysts give a lot of credit to, but then falls off like a brick on side lanes. But Licorice is
Glow up
just-
for Licorice from spring to summer. Like
Exactly.
most people in spring would have had him 7th.
Yeah. I think I generally agree with a lot of these sources. I might swap Summon and Fudge. I might swap Core and Sven, whatever.
Yeah.
I
Snub
think
time.
Snub time.
Yeah.
Mid lane is very hard to pick your third. I think M&S is a fine pick. I wouldn't hate you for it.
Yep.
I think Palafox maybe deserves some attention. I think Insanity maybe deserves some attention. The problem is it's just so hard to pick one based off a metric and not have something to dog them on a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll do M&S as my third right now, but it's close.
Yeah, and just for those of you tuning in now, this is the Discord made All Pro, and we're using it as a discussion
Fan
jump
vote,
off point.
yeah.
Yeah. This is as close as we'll get to a fan vote of very dedicated fans. I think the Discord generally is very smart compared to overall fan base. Raz, you have snubs.
Yeah, so the snubs part, that's funny.
I was gonna say, have you seen the EU fan vote? All Fnatic, all G2 or whatever that was.
This is not that.
This is not that. Our fans.
Much better.
Good job,
Big brain.
fans.
Smaller sample size, but still.
Might be the reason.
But like with the AD carry one, for sure, I think that one's worth the conversation because I think Yone has had a really strong split alongside Core JJ. I think a lot of people give credit to Core JJ, but like Yone, I think in lane has just done a lot in terms of like when he's playing Aphelios, Varus, and stuff like the pressure that he outputs is what's giving them a hard early game lead. They will knock his times where he gets picked later on in the game. That will happen. But I do think he has had a really consistent split personally.
So, Discord has said what their top lane is. I'm hearing there's a lot of revenge in the chat. So if we're doing the Twitch chat, all pro front runners, I hear there's a lot of revenge in Twitch chat at the moment.
I like that.
Over Fudge.
I think that's a potential one. Revenge did have really good games, and Fudge has had some meh ones as well. I think it's closer than it has been in the past. But top lane is really hard because I feel like Revenge, to your point about the Revenge horizon, he's playing well individually, but it doesn't always translate to wins in tangible ways. Whether that's because everything's going to JoJo mid or...
That's the top lane.
Yeah, it's just hard to kind of pin down. I think there's a lot of top laners who have had decent splits outside of the top two, which I think feel pretty good to me.
I'm so torn on Summit, actually. So he has second here for Discord. Depending on what you value in a top laner, he could be runaway first or 8th.
I think that's probably
actually 8th.
If we do, I mean, we will do all pros, but if when people are going to start the conversation about like who got snubbed and all this, I might just flip-flop on the Summit thing, because it really is what you value as.
He's the runaway leader for isolated deaths.
Yes.
Because his mid and late game is just so reckless.
But his laning.
His laning is
But his laning is so incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like that one is a really tough one, and I think Revenge can sneak in there from either the Summit POV or Fudge. I think that's fair. Fudge, I think, has still performed really well, even in their losses, versus Team Liquid is a great reminder, like his Renekton games, or where he got a great flank on APA multiple times. So I think his team fighting is still really good, and I would still easily put him in my top 3. It's just tough on that one. But yeah. That one's gonna be hard.
Yeah, anyway, like
It's gonna be tough.
everyone's in the media and ourselves are gonna have to put in these ballots after today. So it's good to have this discussion right now to see what it ends up being. Those will be revealed obviously after the votes. Let's pull up the predictions for today's games. These are for this currently scheduled games. It is likely that we will have anywhere from 1 to 5 tiebreaker games, but this is one of the most colorful I've seen it.
Yeah, this is a good spread.
Yeah, Mark.
Fans, rise up with me. TSM doubters and shambles.
Just to note, if fan predictions come true, we will get 3 tiebreaker games.
Yep.
True.
Because I'm there with the fans.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be a one upset. I feel like there always is.
Are you just playing to the fans?
No!
That's your strategy.
No, you guys are the ones that are crazy.
Oh man, your Discord vote fans is so perfect. That's mine. Oh, fan vote, your predictions today are the best.
You have this crazy thing with FlyQuest, and they're out, and you're still voting FlyQuest.
Yeah, I voted them 12 times in a row. They're super due, and the pressure's on. So as we head out to casters, returning guest caster Kangas is bringing a bizarre but ancient NACL tradition to the LCS.
Get in there, Kangas.
Kangas?
Hey, happy birthday, buddy. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Mother Happy birthday, Dhokla. What are you doing here? Baked you a cake. Stick the cast in. I think I got some in my eye, Azael. It's still there. It's still there. Do I have anything? Can you
You're looking good. You're looking good.
Right, cool, cool. Making sure. Thank you. And welcome, everybody, to LCS, the last day of the regular seasons. Do you believe in tiebreakers, Azael?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a 97% chance for tiebreakers. So I
think
believe
it was pretty high.
The odds are pretty good.
A lot of it hinges on this game. That's a fun fact that the analysts were talking about, is if Immortals can pick up that win. That's the only scenario where we don't have a tiebreaker. So, everybody in the audience, if you want tiebreakers, you're rooting for NRG right now, because that guarantees that we'll get some.
Yeah, it should be a good day. I think we're pretty much guaranteed to get 1 or 2. I think it's very, very likely. So we'll see what it does end up with at the end of the day, and we'll obviously update you guys throughout the day. based on how many tiebreakers there are going to be.
And the fun fact is that if Immortals win, it could be 0, but it still could be that 5. So if you want chaos, you're actually rooting for Immortals.
True,
Because then everybody behind the scenes in production is also freaking out.
There's a Kangas sign.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I missed that
nice.
one. I was looking at Azael.
That's
Hard to take my eyes off. All right, well, let's put our eyes back here onto the draft to catch up. Hi, everybody in the audience. Immortals on the blue side. Already a rough look for them here, Azael. I was doing the math. I was checking some numbers. And Immortals actually are one of the teams with a higher win rate on red side. Now, it is important to note that I was catching up with some members from Immortals behind the scenes, and they were saying it's still undecided if they will take this game seriously, which I love. Because they're waiting till the last moment to say, all right, are we actually going to give it our all to make that seed implication important for NRG, or are we just going to have fun since their season will be over, win or loss?
Yeah, their season is obviously already over. You know, they would have had to make the 3-0 run and have some other stuff happen this weekend, but they lost game 1, so it was over right out the gate. But Rell first pick seems pretty serious to me. You know, maybe we'll get a little bit of spice from Immortals, hard to say. But I generally feel like teams end up trying on stage, because at the end of the day, there's a ton of people watching, and you're kind of playing for your position for next year, I feel like. In a way, yeah. So to me, it's one of those things where it's like you still want to have a good reputation. You want to look as good as you can on stage. You want to win as many games as you can, because I always feel like after you're eliminated in playoffs, you're auditioning for next year. You're still trying to keep your job.
That is the practical way to look at it, but the fun way to look at it is you're playing for front page of Reddit, Azael.
Oh, true.
You know, if they lock in Teemo, you know people are going to watch this game. So let's see what they decide to do. So far, it does look pretty standard. NRG going for the Rakan with the Sejuani. Immortals having that Rell early on and locking in a carry for Solo. Okay, well, this is a treat because Solo is often on the tank duty. He's played an infinite games of Ornn, of Sion, of Malphite, of K'Sante, of the tanks. One Rumble game, gets back on a carry to close out the season.
Yeah, has had one Rumble game already, so will be a second here. There's potential, a small potential for it to be swapped around. We've only really seen Rumble top in the LCS, but you do still see some Rumble mid, some Rumble jungle in solo queue. So it would be interesting to see if anything like that happens with Azir getting locked in. Of course, that is going down in the odds. And we're assuming that it is going to be Rell support. That's mostly what we've seen. We've seen a couple games of Rell jungle, but it's been almost exclusively Rell support here in the LCS.
And knowing Kenvi's play style, he's not one of the ones that has picked up the Rell in the jungle, so we'll unexpected. There's a lot of fan preference for champions, I'm noticing. That's like the majority of the signs right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Palafox maybe going to go for a Yone. That is one of his...
Oh, this is a resume. If you have that one up there, you got to have like on the back like your qualifications.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Yone coming out for Palafox. This is one of his signature champions, I would say, and it's something that he was kind of popularizing in spring. Really good matchup into the Azir, so should be a tough matchup for Bolulu. We'll see what Palafox can get done on it. But a lot of engage already drafted in the first 3 here for NRG. I think it's going to make it pretty dangerous for the Immortals side. And it's interesting that Immortals are the ones banning out Xayah, because I was just thinking Xayah would actually be a great pick for them. But I guess they're worried that it could get taken on 4 for FBI, and they wouldn't have access to it anyway.
NRG are pulling out all the stops here. It is important to note that this win is very important for them as they are looking to maintain a spot higher up in the standings for themselves. There's a potential. They're looking at Team Liquid and how they're going to be going later on in the day as well. So maybe a little more pressure on NRG's side. But I like the fact you make about that Yone. And I love to see Palafox on these picks. That was one of the funnest things to see him on for the past year. I mean, he's been willing to play these AD mid laners.
Oh, it's Yone top.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
I mean, Dhokla also played it in spring, I want to say. So both these guys have played this pick. I'm going to look back and see actually how many times he played it in spring.
This even goes back to, I believe, even summer of last year, back when it was the old CLG
Exactly.
roster.
So he did have 2 games in spring on it. So it was a flex for them back there. But honestly, I wasn't thinking about that at all, given the fact that the Azir was locked in, and this was traditionally that kind of matchup.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. They're going to flex it up top, so it does mean we're going to have Yone versus the Rumble up in the top lane.
So how does that matchup look then? Are we still favoring the Yone there?
I feel like early on, Rumble should definitely have the push. I'm honestly not that familiar with this matchup. I do think that Yone, scales incredibly well. If you can get some sustain in, work towards something like the Wit's End, there's a lot of AP, a lot of magic damage over on the Immortal side. And I think if he can get to like 1-2 items, get a Wit's End, something like that in there, I do think he's really going to start taking over. But I would expect Solo to have the push early and to have the advantage in those early stages.
Yeah,
generally, Yone needs some levels, needs some sustain in there before he can really start taking over. And especially if Solo is going to go Ignite. Some players have been going Ignite, some have been going TP. But if you go Ignite, for sure, the early levels should be heavily in your favor.
And while we've talked about the top lane matchup, important to note, Kenvi is piloting that Rell, so it is the jungle Rell. The Renata Glasc go into support with Tactical on the Kalista. And then rounding out NRG's draft, we have Ashe locked in. So I'm seeing decent amount of pick potential from NRG, a lot of forward momentum from NRG. This is not the type of kite back composition.
I mean, NRG literally has engaged from all 5 roles, right? Like, this is basically the most engaged you could draft for. Across the map, they are going to have ways to start fights. It is going to be really explosive. So I think one of the tough things for Immortals is they don't really have great ways to face check. It's going to be pretty much exclusively up to Kenvi. If anyone else face checks and actually gets hit by some CC, and there's a ton of it on the other side, you could get burst down. That being said, a good Renata ult can really turn the tides against hard engaged comps. If you have 5 members diving forward here, Renata ulti across multiple people can really shift the landscape in a game.
Renata ult, Kalista ult can pull people back. Azir can say no. There is peel potential for Immortals draft. Let's see if it will be enough here, as this will be their final game of the summer season.
It is Hail of Blades Azir.
Oh, beautiful.
I don't know that I've ever seen that.
This is some dark technology.
This is some very dark technology.
All right,
is it going to proc on the soldier autos?
It has to. I mean,
if it does not, that is going to be real garbage.
All right, we got 5 seconds before we get a pause for a remake. Let's see if it comes through here.
I mean, I assume it's intentional, so I'm going to be interested to see. It is, in fact, Ignite as well for Solo, so it is Ignite comment. He's going for that aggressive start. I'm expecting that Dhokla, is going to have second wind. He's obviously going to be a D-shield start, so it's going to be about sustaining through this. He does have second wind, so, for Dhokla, likely it is just about being able to survive the early stages, get the harass with the Spirit Cleave, try to get some levels under your belt, because once you get some more points in your Q, you start getting the points into your E, you really can start to go in for these beneficial trades, with that Soul Unbound, and that's what Yone's going to be looking for. But Solo can just constantly shove and be looking to harass you under tower.
That's the lane matchup, but when do we see Yone start grouping up with the team typically? Is there an item breakpoint we're going to be paying attention to here?
I mean, I think it's just going to be about how the rest of the map is playing, right? If the rest of the map, it doesn't need him to come, then he doesn't need to actually force group.
Well, while we let the level 1 play out, let's send it down to Gabby and NRG's coach ThinkCard for a quick sideline interview.
Thank you, Kangas. I had to get some words from you because while NRG did secure the top 6 to have that upper bracket, you still have some pressure on to prepare for playoffs. How did that affect the way you approached this particular game?
For this game, we kind of came into this thinking we played Immortals week 1. We know that we were inconsistent. We didn't start off the split very strong. So this is just a really good opportunity to show this is how much we've grown. This is how much we've improved in all these different aspects of the game. So we're looking to just have a really clean game. Hopefully we hit those clean game situations this game. But yeah.
What a way to test that growth by Immortals bringing kind of some of their comfort champions, Tactical on the Kalista. Anything coming out of right field, or is this what you're expecting from them?
It is a little out of right field. The Renata is good into full engage comp, so it is a pretty good pick. But Tactical is the only AD damage on the team, so he needs to put in some work here. So I'm expecting them to rotate him around the map, get Herald, put gold into him, and if they can't do that, I expect it to not be very easy for them.
All right, well, ThinkCard, thank you for your insights. Back to the Rift.
Thank you very much, Gabby and ThinkCard. Now, as we're back to live, we already have a gank happening. Contractz lands a stun on the Solo, but hold the bank. Dhokla will not pick up first blood.
Not going to be able to kill him, but getting the flash off of an Ignite top laner is actually such a big deal. We have to look if the wave is bad. Yeah, the wave is actually still bad for Solo, so now he has to go back to base, has to walk back to a wave that's pushing away from him, which is terrible. Kenvi, though,
maybe give me some mid. Yeah, Kenvi coming in for a gank, but Contractz reads the play. It makes it there in time, and actually just heavily trades against Kenvi, forces him out.
So Hail of Blades does proc off the soldiers. We have seen that work so far. And I did actually just look to see how much this has actually come out in pro. So it has come out in pro before, but it's only 0.8% of the pro mid lane games has it actually been used. So extremely niche. Maybe getting more popular on the most recent patch because in solo queue data is actually pretty high win rate, but still not really being picked very often. So maybe a little bit of new tech here coming out from Bolulu. We'll have to see how it does work out because it's going to be about like these short, quick trades.
Yeah.
I just don't know like how often he'll be able to get those off against the Ahri because generally in range matchups, if you wanted to go for lane, people would always go towards like Comet or sometimes even Ahri. If they want to have sustained damage, they would go towards Conqueror. That is really, really common. So going to be interested to see how it actually does work out for him.
If anybody's going to do it, though, I trust it would be Bolulu. He does like the niche picks, the slightly off-meta things, and also, you know, proficient on the poke champion, so kind of playing it more along those lines. As we see the bot lane shoved in. We did see something happen around the river there as well at the bottom lane. Contractz and Kenvi have actually ran into each other twice already in this early game. It was Contractz that got the smite over that Scuttle Crab. So winning out on both encounters, pushes him out of the mid lane, gets that bottom Scuttle, and actually will double Scuttle. Contractz will get the top one.
You're going to be able to take double Scuttle, so it's looking really nice for him. But yeah, I think a lot of, you know, when Dhokla's going to group, a lot of when NRG is going to group. Is
not rational gamers.
Yes, exactly. It's just going to be based around when they actually need him to come down. If Dhokla's winning in the side lane, he can be happy to just sit in that side lane, continue to scale up. Yone kind of just scales to infinity. This champion is so good with gold on him, so I really think he's just going to be trying to maximize his income as much as humanly possible. Kenvi's coming up towards top side. Did he miss that brush?
He did miss that brush, and also, look at again, Contractz is exactly where Kenvi is. I was just going to bounce off your point there that I want to see Solo get a bigger lead here in this lane because of that ticking time bomb that is the Yone. Contractz is reading that too. Actually answers where Kenvi is on the map for a third time. And then without that ward and that brush, they can't even see if Contractz is there.
Yeah, that's the difficulty about playing Ignite, is that it's really risky. And so see, now we have the vision toggle. There's no vision in that tri-brush, so Kenvi just straight up missed that, so he doesn't even have that
safety. Doesn't have this info. Now Solo will realize, doesn't have flash from the earlier gank. Dhokla just hits level 6. This is a rough spot for Rumble to be in. And Dhokla will start it off. Let's see who gets the kill credit. They should give this over to the Yone. First blood, a big Dokes.
2 early ganks up towards top lane from Contractz, really punishing that, and that is the missed ward there. Didn't see him coming through the brush, unfortunately. That is going to kind of punish him quite a lot. Solo goes down, and when you fall behind and you're taking a combat summoner in top lane, your game can be over so fast because you fall so behind as far as the experience is concerned. He's going to lose about 2 full waves to the tower after dying there, and the wave is going to bounce back to his opponent. So it is going to be really, really rough. You know, maybe he'll get XP from some of these. Maybe he'll get CS on 1 or 2, but at the very least, they will get a dragon down on bot side. NRG, though, potentially
will they? It's contested. IgNar engages. Contractz locking down. Beautiful CC chain as Bolulu is caught out away from the rest of the members. Dragon goes over, but can the rest of Immortals retreat now? Treatz has the flash, gets over the wall. Now IgNar's going to continue. Doesn't have the flash himself. Treatz slowed down. Treatz will be sacrificed as well. There you have it. 2 kills for the Dragon. NRG trading up.
Nicely done by NRG. And I really like how Palafox held his charm for so long, because just having the threat of that as Contractz looking for more.
Yeah, they're not done yet. NRG want to take everything from Immortals. They'll punish Kenvi as well, as he was hoping to get his Krugs, pushing him out of the jungle. They're going to take those for themselves.
And now Tactical could actually get zoned off this wave. We'll see how quickly Treatz can get back. But
you got to be careful. All right, that was a bold move from Tactical walking up there. I guess he had Bolulu coming by as well, but this is another wave shoved in. NRG are just cashing in gold everywhere on the Rift right now.
Yeah, they are looking really good. At the very least, it was a dragon that went to Immortal's side, but falling so far behind. Yet Palafox just held his charm for such a long time on that chase that Treatz is basically forced to try to just juke it out over and over and over.
It wastes time.
Exactly. It's just wasting their time, allowing them to catch up. So was well played. Tactical, Treatz pushing this up. Will not spot IgNar, and IgNar is going to stay around, so...
FBI's not sick, so he can't set this up, but Palafox is posturing. He'll be spotted on the control ward, so Immortals realize, but Treatz still doesn't have flash. This is IgNar's moment. Push Treatz up towards the river. Treatz is in such a rough spot right now. Knocked up, slowed down, charmed up, and another kill given over to NRG. Who gets it? Looks like it's going to be FBI. Palafox gets the kill credit.
Yeah, Palafox makes the roam, gets the kill credit. Bolulu working on that mid lane tier 1, but another kill going the way of Palafox. That was really well played by IgNar. You know, bided his time, waited out the brush, then waited, steps forward, waits till the handshake is used there from Treatz, sidesteps that, and then just walks in point blank, so there's no possible way he can miss his W. Again, Immortals will trade cross map, but it always has been feeling like they're trading down. They are kind of struggling as they're falling further and further behind in this game. At least this time, they will grab a Herald. So a Herald for that 1 kill is definitely going to be positive for them.
Yeah.
But I feel like Kenvi needs to get up towards top lane and help out Solo, because Solo has been the recipient of a lot of attention from Contractz. And if you can't get your Ignite top laner going, there's not a lot that you can do later on in the game.
It feels like consolation prizes for these objectives that, Immortals are getting. NRG are getting further ahead in the overall game state. And I agree with you. Play the top side. You are there right now. You have the Herald. Let's watch Kenvi and see if he decides to actually go for it again, because Dhokla has shoved in the wave. But yet again, I mean, where's Contractz? The same side of the map. Contractz is marking Kenvi everywhere that he's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Contractz has been playing a really good game so far, has been very active on the map with the Sejuani. And again, he's moving into that top lane brush here. Kenvi is coming up, but if they lose this 2v2, this is going to be one that really decides the game. Equalizer is ready, and they have Ignite.
NRG are just going to try and chain onto Solo. He flashes away. Dhokla's in trouble. They're doing a lot of damage. Solo gets the kill, making a double to the top laner for Immortals. Palafox and Bolulu, meanwhile, have their own 1v1 going. Charm lands. Palafox with the outplay. Splash from Bolulu, and Foxfire is not enough to pick up the kill from Palafox. Does he go for the flash? No, I think Bolulu's out of there.
Yeah, that flash was really big from Bolulu. Was able to flash out of that second half of the Orb of Deception. Yep. Otherwise, he would have gone down. But that is exactly what Kenvi needs to get done. Play up towards that top side. It is so hard to win in 2v2 against Rumble early on when he has Ignite, when he has that Equalizer. In fact, he didn't even need the Ignite in this case. He held on to it. And they just got shredded. That's what you can do in these situations. So finally, Kenvi gets up towards that top side. Both the kills went to Solo as well, which is massive. So now he has the Proto Bell already completed there. That is a really big deal. Is Dhokla looking like he's going for a Blade of the Rune King rush here, potentially? So has a little bit of sustain, but now Dhokla, is going to have to be a lot more respectful of the damage that Solo can put out with that early Mythic.
Immortals just pulled some psychological warfare right there. They lulled NRG into a false sense of security. You're killing us everywhere you go. Well, what if we actually force you to engage on us, or rather bait you to? And then during the play, Dhokla this time is getting a little wise to it. No, he's sticking around. I thought he was going to back off from the wave, but he will contest. Here's the force. Kenvi going for it. That's a teleport in from Palafox. So Immortals say, we'll just take the summoner spell and walk out.
That was a really fast TP from Palafox. Yeah. Well done by him to actually be able to respond. Now he has to walk back towards mid, and Contractz has moved up into the river to try to support him to do that. Because he could get cut off, right? So, if Contractz doesn't move up, he could actually be getting cut off here potentially and not be able to get back towards mid. But now Bolulu is going to go down towards bot. Tactical, though, he's been caught.
Okay, Ashe use instant cleanse. Flashes forward. Tactical wants to get aggressive on the FBI. Doesn't quite have the Ren stack. Oh, but he survives! Treatz keeping him alive! And Immortals get a double kill to their bot laner.
Tactical going off there, getting aggressive, flashing forward, had the quick cleanse on FBI's arrow. And then that reduction of CC was still there as the full CC chain came in from IgNar, so he was not locked down very long. He flashes in, he has the bailout there from Treatz, and it's enough to get those stacks as they're going topside.
Yeah, chain CC onto Solo. He will get the Equalizer down and actually survives it. There's no more play for NRG unless Palafox really wants to force something here. Charm lands, and the shutdown is there for Palafox. Again, traded for a drag, and Immortals will get an objective, but NRG claim another kill on Solo.
Yeah, and NRG wouldn't have been able to contest that dragon anyway because their bot lane both died, so go up towards the other side of the map, be able to look for that play. Solo, again, holds on to the Ignite. It would have been pretty close on Dhokla if he let that Ignite go, but potentially, didn't think he had the damage. At the very least, though, they will get first tower down on bottom side, so Tactical getting a lot of gold here injected into him. Now out to about 5,500 gold, so Tactical all of a sudden gets a double kill, gets that first tower gold. He's the richest man in the game on this Kalista, and he's playing ahead of the pace of the game. And if you think back to his TL days, Kalista was one of those champions that he had some of his most famous games on. He had these monster 14-kill base defense game with TL where a lot of people really started to take note of Tactical.
And now he is a little fed. Can he get this back off? Palafox is inclined to stop it. Does not. Whoa. That was some confidence from Tactical right there.
That looked like it was basically touching his character
somebody
model.
call Freak. Can we take a look at that one? We might need to just check some patch notes. Either way, though, let's take a look at the overall story here, because it looked like the game was going, okay, objectives going to Immortals, but NRG had the gold lead and they were getting ahead. They're trying to make a play now, but they don't have that gold lead anymore, so it feels like they're pressured to make things happen now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, NRG moving in on that bot side, trying to establish vision. They have done a really good job of getting down a ton of wards in the enemy jungle. They have ward here, ward here, ward here. So they have a lot of coverage for Palafox pushing on that bottom side. So yeah, Kenvi was hanging around, looking for a potential play, but it was all on vision from NRG. So they did a good job establishing that vision down on bot side, trying to allow Palafox to push up there. While they had moved their mid lane, their rather their bot lane towards mid, and Dhokla now potentially in trouble on top side.
I mean, we just saw Contractz and IgNar bot side reset at the same time. Immortals have 4 members up here to chase down Dhokla. He will use the Yone ult to get away from that, but he's pulled right back in. Do they have the damage? Under turret, Tactical will pick up his 3rd kill of the game.
Nicely done, another kill there on Dhokla. Did sense that the dive was coming, but just moved out a little bit too late, unfortunately for him. So another kill on Dhokla is grabbed. And Immortals going to be able to knock down another turret here. Their bot lane took down that first tower on the bottom side. Now they're going to be able to get another one here up on that top lane. And yes, the Ahri may eventually collect the one on the bot side, but it is being defended now by Bolulu, so there's no guarantee. They're going to TP back in, though. They're going to look for it.
This.
Oh, but it got interrupted.
Oh, Palafox's teleport was stopped, and IgNar Contractz, they already committed to the play. So now we have a 3v2. Teleport coming in from Dhokla. Will not have the ultimate for this, but with FBI joining, Immortals now going to need to get out of there. Tactical with a really quick cleanse, but is it enough? He's trying to kite back. He's trying to get the damage in. He has the bailout yet again, but he cannot get the resets. Shut down as Bolulu teleports in, fancies himself some damage in this fight. Will get the kill onto Dhokla. We've reset 3v3. Immortals now chasing NRG, who are trying to retreat, chased into the brush. They're focusing Kenvi. Bolulu flashes away. He's the damage. Bolulu gets the first one. Immortals are doing it. They're gonna get another one. Solo's melting down Contractz, and IMT are fighting back. Solo picks up a kill.
Roasting him in the top lane. Immortals make the move up. They cover the play here. Yes, their bot lane does end up going down, but Immortals are able to get a lot of kills back. The gold is now basically dead even, and they have that 2-dragon lead here, and it's a Hextech Soul on the table, which is a big one for them. So Immortals doing a great job fighting back in this game.
They might even get this. Oh.
I mean, it was looking like it was going to be really one-sided for NRG, you know, after the early minutes.
It should have been.
Yeah, but Immortals have done a great job, you know, fighting back and finding these windows of opportunity here. This one, you know, you are going to be revealed when you're TPing in that brush, so he spots him. He's going to be able to interrupt it. And NRG still wants to try to go for the play. Kenvi is here. They have the extra members roaming up. It's about FBI arriving first. It's about the TP coming in from Dhokla, but they were missing key ultimates. They were missing a lot of their tools to be able to get these kills quickly. And the problem arrives after Bolulu has backed off in bot lane. He has his teleport to arrive. Solo roams up, and we are back to live.
Also, a little bit of rough target selection there as we're live. Kenvi might get dove here. No, he's good. Dhokla, as soon as he teleported in, started hitting Kenvi, the Rell, and because he didn't immediately go on the Kalista, Tactical got a rend off in that fight. I think that's what sealed his fate, but now Palafox still playing for more here onto Kenvi. Diving between turrets, there's no help for Immortals jungler. Does Palafox have the damage? Oh, he's spear rushing forward. Foxfire for the kill and flashes to safety.
Nicely done there by Palafox. Kenvi doing a good job sidestepping some of the damage. You know, sidestepped one of the earlier orbs of deception, trying to stay alive. Nearly was able to do so, but down on the other side of the map, it's Immortals pushing up through bot lane. It's them who are going to have first move towards this dragon. We'll see if they're going to be able to have the confidence to kind of play in this area, try to buy time for Kenvi to respawn, because obviously on the map right now, NRG do have the man advantage, but Immortals want to keep stacking these dragons, and they have Solo here. Solo is really strong at this point, just hit level 11, so he has his rank 2 of the ulti. I feel like they should be able to buy time with the Hex Gates for Kenvi to arrive.
I'm feeling, oh, okay. IgNar gets chunked out to start off. Treatz and Tactical were hiding in the brush. And that should just be Dragon. Let's see if Contractz can go for a steal. Might try and 50-50 this, but you're right. Kenvi is here. Oh, they're just going to melt down IgNar. Long range from the equalizer. Solo will grab that, so no contest anymore. That is a 3rd dragon for Immortals.
Nicely done there by Immortals. Again, the bot lane kind of creating that play. They chunk out IgNar. That forces NRG to be able to back off. That buys time for Kenvi to arrive. And then Solo finds the angle with the equalizer to cook up IgNar, who was trying to recall at that low health. NRG moving out towards topside now, but it's Immortals who really are getting a lot of the pace in the game. It doesn't feel like NRG are in a lead. You know, they do have a slight gold lead, but it's not really amounting to much. And this is just a great play here as Treatz and Tactical are laying in wait in that brush. They chunk down IgNar, and it's these wards that actually spotted him moving up.
I want to talk about Treatz for a second here. He's been playing this game incredibly well. Even right before that, gets the handshake. Yeah, we see the meltdown onto IgNar there. But before that, he even pulls back Contractz to allow them the space to take the Gromp on the Renata Glasc, a champion that hasn't played all too often, but we heard from Thinkard, he was like, yeah, it's tough to play this all-dive composition into this champion. And I think we're already starting to see the players feel a little uncomfortable with how they want to approach. Teleport coming in. All right, Dhokla looks for it onto Bolulu. Really chunks him out, but Bolulu says the only way out is in, and he'll trade his life. That's a 1v1.
Nicely done by Bolulu. Gets that kill. Palafox does arrive with the TP, is able to clean it up. But still, as you say, there was no way out for him on that play, so he had to look for the trade. He's able to make it happen.
Not
and
bad.
Immortals, again, getting as good as they take here. Kenvi now spotting out Contractz. Won't be able to look for any sort of a fight as his team was moving up towards the top side, but they're starting to establish vision up on the top side of the map, trying to get ready for the potential Baron spawn, trying to get ready for that pressure that they want to have around the top side of the map.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of emphasis on this next dragon from NRG, and that can open up opportunities, especially with Kalista, to potentially go for something like a Baron take.
Ashe from long range hits Kenvi here as Immortals. Their focus is this turret. If they can get this turret,
that was
swing and a miss
late
from Contractz right there. They do not clear the turret though, so NRG hold the mid prio. They have claimed that outer turret. They hold onto their own. This gives them a lot more control around these objectives.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to hold on to that tower. Obviously, when the Ashe arrow connected onto Kenvi, he has Merc Treads. He's not really going to be the target. You're going to be able to lock down for long enough. So they try to go for the ult from Contractz to follow up, but obviously was a bit late there. Immortals, though, pushing in again, trying to pressure down this tower. Won't be able to get it on this wave, but at the very least, they're keeping the pressure on. And there is going to be so much threat around these next couple objectives because if NRG give over Soul, that could be game ending. But at the same time, if they over-prioritize playing around the bot side, Baron can easily be burned down by Kalista and Azir.
Oh, Immortal, they're just going to find a pick here. That's Flash out of IgNar. Two rough positioning plays in a row from NRG's support. Now cost him a crucial engage tool, giving that extra range for the Rakan. Palafox looks to make it happen on his own. They get the ultimate and the Fates call down. Along with Equalizer, FBI, he's just kind of dancing around this like, is anybody going to engage on me? I'm holding my flash. I'm good. So 3 ultimates used by IMT. They do not pick up a kill.
Yeah, they don't get a kill, but they do get the cleanse off of FBI. They get the ult off FBI. They get the ult off of Palafox. So they're trading, back and forth with this, and they're really just trying to keep the pressure up. They obviously have a lot of emphasis on taking down this mid lane tier 1, and that is why NRG, I think, is committing so heavily to trying to defend it. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Palafox to try to carry in this game. He has been having, I think, an amazing couple weeks.
I mean, player of the week.
Yeah, it was player of the week last week. Is sitting at 5-0 right now with the death cap complete. So, it was kind of, I would say, going a little bit middle of the road with his build because he did go Everfrost. He went to CDR boots. He's obviously has pieces of the Banshees. But it's like, when you're this rich, I would much rather see you just commit more heavily to damage.
Yep.
And really try to take over the game. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it either way.
Give us that Shadow Flame. Give us that pure damage build. But okay, Dark Seal, 8 stacks. Does that split the difference? Are we happy with that?
He's got a death cap and a as well as the Dark Seal, so sure.
Maybe once he gets some Mage Eyes, then we'll call it.
If he gets some Mage Eyes, all is forgiven.
That's like the opposite of what we typically say. So that kind of tells you the state of the game for NRG right now, I suppose. They do still have the gold lead, though. It is important to note that. And maybe they can use their pick tools that we talked about earlier. They go for the engage. Massive from Contractz and company. FBI's getting all that damage out. Tactical not saved this time, and NRG make it happen.
That ulti from FBI was massive. It connects onto Treatz, and there was no ult from Tactical. He didn't have that available. Yes, Treatz survives to actually get the bailout onto Tactical, but they just got ran over in the mid lane. Thankfully, though, for Immortals, it was not on an objective spawn. They're not feeling comfortable to rush Baron, and I think there will be enough time for them to potentially still contest this Dragon. We'll have to see, because there are those Hex Gates. Yeah. Of course, if NRG goes straight for it, they should have the advantage, but
I think they get this one, and Kenvi's posturing top. Maybe they go for that Baron that you were talking about. If we see multiple members of NRG on Dragon, you could try and go for Baron, but NRG are wise to this, and they say, we're going to check both. Only 2 members down on the Dragon. They deny the soul from IMT. Turns into a very important play there from FBI. He was fishing with those Ashe arrows earlier, and most of them were hitting Kenvi, but that time around, if you hit the right target, you can pounce, you can blow members up on IMT.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be able to get a big kill. Leads into the Dragon. Immortals now playing heavily towards the top side, trying to threaten around this Baron, and IgNar's caught.
Oh, again, IgNar out of position and locked down from IMT. The composition that we said going into this is going to be more kite back style. They have found play after play for themselves, and NRG now have to approach as for Treatz. Pulls in Dhokla. Oh, he almost goes down immediately, and they snipe him with the equalizer. Solo might be traded, but he is still alive. It's gonna come down to FBI and Palafox. They gotta do a lot of care, but Bolulu with a shuffle will take down 2 more. Palafox, he's still up. Maybe he can look for a miracle. But that just turned into a 4-for-0 in favor of IMT.
Immortals just wipe energy off the map there. IgNar keeps getting caught. It feels like a number of times in a row he's getting punished. You know, they have a lot of tools to actually check these brushes. Either needs to be Contractz moving first, or check the brushes with Hawkshot or with volleys from the Ashe. Like, you have some ways to try to do it, but you know, walked up here, was feeling confident.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work out as he gets burst down immediately, and then NRG are in this difficult situation where they're trying to force here to stop them at this Baron. Dhokla goes forward, but look at the damage off that handshake. That handshake from Treatz was so good. Got about 95% of his health there. Then the equalizer gets dropped. They finish him off. Solo does not get burst down as the Renata Glasc ulti is coming through that force energy back. It keeps Solo safe, and it creates this opportunity for Bolulu to fly forward and find that shuffle in.
Solo's like, it's okay, Kenvi. I was forgiven for that missed ward in the tri-bush earlier, because we've had a pretty smooth game since then. IMT are in this with the Red Bull Baron buff. They can retake control of these waves, which they already had a good shove. We see as we're coming back to live, this mid turret will probably fall off of this wave. Although no, Immortals actually look for a sneaky Hex Flash over the wall instead. They're not hard committing to the turret as of just yet, but you imagine that with that Baron buff, they can start to take down more turrets.
Yeah, I mean, look at bot already. No one's answering that wave. I feel like someone should go down and actually Baron and power that, and at least play through 2 lanes. But they seem a little bit hesitant to do it. You know, there is no TP on Solo. I think Bolulu should just be playing through that side, at least Baron buff up those minions. And he will now finally head down there. But honestly, that should have been probably a free tier 2. There was like 2 waves that died to that tower. But they were a little bit hesitant to do it. They wanted to try to control some space in between these lanes. Now they'll be able to take down the tier 1 mid finally, as there have been a lot of pressure on that throughout the last 10 minutes or so in the game. They'll move in, they'll establish some vision control, and they'll start to bounce back and forth between mid and bot, likely try to target this bot lane tier 2 next.
A minute 10 left on that Red Bull Baron buff. Let's see if Immortals can actually get another turret, though.
They really should be able to.
Gold lead for now. They should be able to, and they are focusing this bot one. It is very low. Palafox has only a cannon minion, though, to focus up right now. No one else from NRG's here, though. Kenvi's actually kind of playing goalie right now, preventing them from approaching.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Dhokla's trying to push out top. They're trying to push out mid with FBI, so they want to try to reset these waves as much as they can.
Kenvi says enough is enough, guys. Hit the turret.
So they are going to be able to get that tier 2 finally. That one is important, obviously worth a lot of gold there. And then they'll be able to go back in time, be able to answer the push here from Dhokla on top side, buy up as much combat power as they possibly can here and get ready, you know, in a minute 30 for this next fight around Dragon that could be a game decider. If they can claim that soul, it will be enough of an advantage, I think, to really be able to slam this one home.
Really helps them with their own ability to catch members out from NRG. Because when we went into this, just looking at the compositions purely, nothing else, I would have imagined it would be NRG engaging, IMT kind of answering the blows, trying to absorb, and then counter-engaging themselves. Not necessarily the case for all of these plays. Immortals have actually controlled the Dragons very well up to this point, and now 55 seconds until that next Dragon. This is the moment where I start to really take inventory of who's going to be favored for this fight. I'm seeing that stopwatch on Tactical, 3 items on the Kalista, and I'm not seeing that giant breakpoint for the Yone where you're able to just one-shot somebody. You have 2 items and some change.
Yeah, he's been pretty far behind, honestly, off a lot of these deaths. We do get the Mage Eyes, I saw that coming through. We also have an Anathemas here from Treatz. Is he going to actually link to the Ahri, I wonder? Yes, it looks like it probably, it is, I think.
That's one to catch you out. Speaking of getting caught out now, big engage from IgNar. If they can get Bolulu right into Contractz, his waiting arms. The mid lane are taking a lot of damage, but they've repositioned. Now they caught Palafox. Immortals turn the play again. And Tactical wants even more. Trying to chase onto IgNar, flashes over the wall, gets the knockup. Chasing onto FBI and Dhokla. NRG are completely split right now as Tactical chases away Contractz and IgNar from that Dragon. Push in mid-wave. That's a free Dragon Soul.
That is massive for Immortals, and they're going to try to push for even more here. They're going to get the tier 2 mid pretty much guaranteed. They killed Palafox, so they got a massive shutdown off him, and they wiped all his stacks off the Mage Eyes, which he had just bought, so he lost all 10 stacks. That really hurts. The shutdown plus the loss of stacks is pretty painful. Now it is nearly a 4K lead. You add the Dragon Soul on top of that, that's about 4 or 5K worth of stats as well. So that becomes a massive lead here for Immortals, and NRG really just continue their struggles against teams that are down towards the bottom of the standings.
They really do, man. Like, it just keeps happening. It started off as a joke, but it's turning into a concern. Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's get a look at the replay here, because it starts off with NRG. They're going for the play themselves, but this time around, IMT absorb it.
I mean, FBI hits the arrow, IgNar goes in for the follow-up, but none of the damage dealers were really there yet, so it wasn't really something that they could look to follow up on.
That hostile takeover is huge.
Yeah, Palafox goes forward, the hostile takeover creates some space, and then Palafox just gets locked down, tries to flash out, but all he does is flash from one side of the Maggie Storm to the other in Kenvi, so he's not really going anywhere. But NRG just seeming very disjointed in this game. It's like IgNar sees the arrow land, so he's like, all right, we're going. But you need someone else there. It's like, great, you CC'd him, but there's no damage.
Yeah, if it feels good in the moment, when you're the one pressing the go button, but then you're like, wait a minute, everybody else is a little far behind. Let's see if NRG have any more in the tank here, as they are looking for another play. They're catching up. Kenvi very tanky, has to stopwatch himself. Hostile takeover yet again onto Dhokla. They can catch out the Yone. The shuffle from Bolulu onto 2. They got FBI. They're going to get Contractz as well. A double kill to Tactical, and IMT own this rift. Dhokla in full retreat. Will they allow him to escape? No damage to follow up. Kenvi can't quite get him. Oh, handshake doesn't land. IMT, they sent the message though. NRG are sweating and IMT are feeling good.
Bolulu finding so many good Azir ults in this game. It just always seems like Bolulu maybe in trouble now.
Yeah, Palafox was actually getting the wave, and Bolulu just face tanks an entire Ahri combo because the build we were talking about does not do enough damage to actually threaten Bolulu. That means Palafox can't even threaten this Baron, the second Red Bull Baron for IMT of this game. And could you believe it? They're making it happen. IMT in firm control of this game.
Yeah, looking really good in this one. Immortals stepping up. It was a strong early game for NRG, but NRG just kind of out of sorts in the mid game, struggling to really coordinate on a lot of their plays. Dhokla has fallen very far behind, so he's not really been relevant in this one. And you have an Ashe that's more kind of supplementary damage. Palafox is more this like vegan build, as people like to call it. And he's the one that kind of had all the gold, so it's been tough for him to really find plays. If he can't threaten a 100-0 type play, there's no one else really doing anything. It feels like anytime Dhokla goes forward, he's instantly put to 10% HP, and he just has to snap back.
A reminder for everybody that if you wanted 5 tiebreakers, you were rooting for Immortals. If you wanted 0 tiebreakers, you were rooting for Immortals. Them winning this makes the rest of the day very spicy, as this was not the expected outcome based on power rankings coming into today. We thought NRG would be making that push to try and secure better seeding for themselves, but IMT, even though this will be their last game of the season, look to end it on a high note.
Yeah, gonna try to get that win. Immortals, I do think, we're improving a little bit down the stretch, starting to make some things work here, but couldn't quite get it together to make playoffs, but do want to showcase the strength that they have when these games are going in their favor. They are looking really good in this one. NRG, touched on it a little bit, but they've been very good against the top teams and very poor against the bottom teams. Have not really been able to find that consistency. It seems that they play to the level of their opponents. I don't know if it's like a not preparing for the low teams. I don't know what it exactly is.
Well, they're not rational. Not rational gamers as they engage from Dhokla. Almost one-shots Bolulu. Can they keep him alive? Azir's out of there. Kenvi's in and says, I will tank the rest of the damage for you, friend. But, oh, dang! Just flashing over the wall! Treatz and Solo won it, and they will take it. IgNar goes down while Tactical gets the top turret. That's a teleport back in from Bolulu. He's still ready to fight Contractz and Dhokla, hoping to take him down. He just takes the same escape path twice. Now Contractz too far forward. NRG are getting wiped in the fight. IMT are making it happen while Tactical just ends the game. NRG flounder, IMT soar. And could you believe it? Flash of Tactical didn't even need to. Bolulu picks up the kill with heads raised in defiance. They'll take down NRG. IMT end their season with the win.
Nicely done here by Immortals. They're going to try to pad the stats, pick up one more kill on Palafox, but he's running for the hills.
He's just trying to waste some time here. A solo will be soloing IgNar right now, but they have enough minions. IMT trying to pad the stats, have some fun. A well-done split, and there you have it. IMT ended on a high note.
Good, it'll take down NRG to finish off the season here. Can feel good about how they played in this one. fell behind early, were able to make some big plays up around topside especially.
Yep.
You know, I think the early couple minutes went so well for NRG. Contractz was able to get up the top side, put Dhokla in a position where you're thinking, okay, Solo is screwed in this one. But Kenvi gets up there, they win that 2v2 really heavily, and it started to feel like after that, more and more things went in the favor of Immortals.
Yep.
NRG would make a play, but Immortals would get more on the other side of the map. They'd be able to take just that one thing extra. And a lot of these 5v5s, they were just out executing. They seemed better coordinated. Bolulu was finding a lot of really good Azir ults. Treatz' ult here on the Renata were causing chaos for NRG. So I think it was a very well played game. Tactical also having some big moments. You know, that moment in the bot lane, flashing forward, going aggressive on the Kalista, getting a couple kills. That led to the first tower. That really started the snowball rolling for them as well.
It felt like it was over in the first couple of minutes. You say that they were trading up for the objectives, but in the moment, it still was like, nah, NRG got this, right? You know, they're going to have that lead, but it really did come down to the execution of the plays. NRG feeling like they were a little invincible, and IMT proving that they were not. They are still out of playoffs. This will be the last time we are seeing Immortals on stage, so take it in, everybody. They deserved that bow. And it still feels good to end it on a win. Like you said, you're playing for the next season in a way.
It's your audition.
This is your audition. And I'd say it's a pretty good audition.
Absolutely. I mean, I think more than in a way, that's just the realities of the business is that, you know, everyone has to fight for their contract every year. It's a very competitive game. You know, there's so many people that are hunting for so few spots, right? So when you're on one of these teams that's, you know, towards the bottom of the table, you have to show what you can bring to the table every single game. You got to play your best. You got to try to showcase why you should have that spot.
And the standings are going to be very interesting going forward for the rest of the day because this was the chaos scenario. Azael, Immortals winning means we could have a world with 0 tiebreakers. We can have a world with 5. Did you believe it going into the day? It's like a 97% that we weren't going to have that happen.
Always possible, man. I've been here for the 10 game days in the past, so I'm down for it.
Those are rough. Those are rough. But before we go, congratulations to all of you at home. We're headed for a first place finish in Fantasy LCS on Sleeper. For those of you who don't make it to the winner's circle, I did not either. Come back next split for a shot at redemption, but I got 3rd place. I feel good about that one. With that said, we're going to send it to a short break before EG and TSM come back next. 3v3, Immortals now chasing NRG, who are trying to retreat, chase into the brush. They're focusing Kenvi, Bolulu flashes away, he's the damage, Bolulu gets the first one, Immortals are doing it! They're gonna get another one! Solo's melting down Contractz, and IMT are fighting back! Solo picks up a kill. NRG now have to approach as for Treatz. Pulls in Dhokla. Oh, he almost goes down immediately and they snipe him with the equalizer. Solo might be traded, but he is still alive. It's going to come down to FBI and Palafox. They got to do a lot of care, but Bolulu with a shuffle will take down 2 more. Palafox, he's still up. Maybe he can look for a miracle, but that just turned into a 4-for-0 in favor of IMT.